to share these two visions, these two revelations that he gave me way back then, because that was the beginning of this ministry. And this was in March 1996. When I was crying out for the intercessors, I was saying, Lord, what do you want me to do? I'm one person. I don't know any other intercessors. And he showed me this vision of intercessors locked in this little cupboard. And it was a dirty, dark, dingy little cupboard, and it had cobwebs in it, and it had just a little curtain over it, and they were cringed up inside. And I said to the Lord, why are they in those cupboards? Why are they cringing inside? And he said, because in the past, the intercessors have made mistakes, overstepped their boundaries. The pastors haven't understood them. And so the pastors got hurt, the intercessors got hurt, the pastors didn't want to have anything to do with intercessors. And so the church was minus the intercessory groups. The intercessors did do a lot of damage in those days. And so I'm aware of those days and where they were. So what the Lord was teaching me and showing me was that he wanted me to teach on the mistakes that have been made so that the intercessors of today don't end up in those little cupboards hurt. But they know their boundaries and they know the etiquette. And there is an etiquette as far as intercessors go. We have a place. And so we need to know that we're not here to tell the pastors what to do. We're here as a silent ministry to just intercede. So I just cried out for those intercessors, and as I continually called them out, I saw them come out of those cupboards. And as they stepped out of the cupboards, all of a sudden they just rose up and they became erect, and they were absolutely perfect. They had been malformed. But as they came out of those cupboards, as they stepped out of those cupboards all of a sudden, and so they were in a place where calling them out, ministering to them, healing them, and getting them back on track. And so the same with the pastors. So many pastors have been hurt, and you'll hear of different stories where the pastors have been touched and what's happened to them through the intercessory groups in the past. And I don't dwell on the past, but I like to show you and tell you, because it is so easy to get caught up in the same place of thinking, well, I'm an intercessor, I hear from God, I know it all. And we don't. And even if the pastor isn't prophetic, it doesn't make any difference. Then the next vision I got was this most beautiful piece of lace. And you know, like in Ephesians 3, where there's no length, breadth, height, depth, there was just absolutely no boundaries to this lace. It was absolutely perfect. And it was joined together with these threads. And I said to the Lord, when you're showing me these threads, what are these threads? And he said, these threads are the intercessors, and they are the bridge builders. You know, it's from church to church, town to town, nation to nation. And he said, denomination, language, colour, it's not a barrier. It's not a barrier. You know, we all love the Lord, and he is our God. And as we look at that and say, okay, Lord, you have chosen us as one of those intercessors. So look at yourselves as intercessors, as part of that perfect piece of lace. You are building a bridge. Every time you intercede, every time you get that burden to pray and you begin to intercede, you are building a bridge. So they're the two visions that the Lord gave me. It was through these two visions and writing these manuals that started this ministry off, the Lord says, I want you to write down every mistake you've made. I want you to teach on every mistake that's been made. I've made a lot because I was an intercessor in those days. So I know what it's like, and I know the damage that can be done, and I see the damage that's been done. And so tonight, I'm going to teach you all about those boundaries. I'm going to teach you because there is so much that we need to know. It's not just interceding as in our prayer life, but there's a lot of other things we need to learn as well. And that's what this whole course is about. So it's going to open up the door in a greater way.